we used to wash in a zinc pan.
Okay.
Right? But you have heard of scrub board?
Yes, and it rigid. It had.
Yeah, it had, so, you know.
Yeah.
It's a piece of wood, heavy piece of wood.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, carved to whistle. I had to make that script sound, and I practice. It has nothing to do with the cleaning of the clothes. You know?
Yeah, it don't make it.
It don't make it any
doesn't
cleaner.
make it any cleaner,
but
right?
It just you have to watch it go scripts. So you make the sound by just squeezing the water.
My brother can do it.
Yes. Well, yeah, but the cleaning is a rubbing, and they use a thing called a cutter. You wrap your cutter.
Yeah.
It's a pad, and a special way of wrapping it. You put it on your head.
Yeah.
And then you put the hamper or the water on top of that.
Really?
Yes. We would make the ice cream in what was called an ice cream bucket. It's
Okay.
made of wood. It's a big pail. And it has a cylindrical metal container in the middle. And then at the top, where you cover it, running through it, you have a bar leading to a spindle or a handle, right?
This is one thing that I never liked, right? The floor cleaning.
Oh, you had to do it?
No, I never know. Listen, people, by them time the Hoover come out, we have the two little thing that must spin.
Yes. Well, those brushes, the Hoover, with the two brushes.
Yeah.
Back in the day, before Hoover, they used to use coconut brush, right? So they would dry the coconut and cut it right across. And so you have that bristle, that nice brush. And the helpers would have to get down, or whoever is cleaning the floor, pad up, and they would have like some cloth to kneel on. They would stain the wooden floor. Wooden floors, though, you know. It's all wooden floors, not tile.
Okay.
Wooden floors. And they would scrub it, man. They sweep, mop, and then they shine. They put on the wax.
I would never want to be a helper in them times.
Them times, but
so you have to sweep first?
Sweep first.
Yeah.
And you mop. And then you put on the stain or the wax. And so this was like the finishing touch.
How do you apply the wax, though? Do you apply it to the brush or to the surface?
Well, both. You could do it both
then.
ways. Just like you're cleaning shoes.
Okay,
Gotcha. Put it on the floor.
And you catch every crevice and corner?
Every crevice and corner. And they would scrub. And they had rhythmic songs, work songs, to go along with the scrubbing. I can't remember any right now, if anybody remember. But, you know, that sound, the sound of the scrubbing, you know, bluggered up, like you would say, two man in a tub, you know, and with shine. And the floors look beautiful.
Really?
Yes, they were gorgeous. And then we had the Hoover, or Stanley, all those things came in.
If you ever used to scrub floors, tell me what your experience was and how did you protect your knees? Now, as you talk about the sound, right? This is Jamaican, because I don't see it in any other culture. The scrip when you're washing.
You wash it.
What is the story behind that?
I don't know what the thing is, but I know I practiced. I wanted to get that scrip sound.
Because you know what, one of the females who can't make it.
Man, I practice that thing. It's like whistling.
Yeah.
You have to whistle. You have to know how to whistle. I had to make that scrip sound, and I practice. It has nothing to do with the cleaning of the clothes. You know?
Yeah, it don't make it.
It don't make it any
doesn't
cleaner.
Make it any cleaner,
but
right?
It's just you have to watch it go scripts. So you make the sound by just squeezing the water.
My brother can do it.
Yes. Well, yeah, but the cleaning is a rubbing between your thumb and thing.
Yeah.
But you have to have the scripts. So nobody else does it, only Jamaicans.
Yeah. Listen, if you ever see that in any other culture, right, please write something in the comment section. But that is uniquely Jamaican. Right? And I keep on saying it. If you want to get more of these cultural type stories, go to my website, kareemsquest.com. I have a culture section that's dedicated to a lot of our old time theaters, which Cecile spoke about it. We talk about like our pastries, famous desserts, just things that are uniquely us Jamaican. So that script sound, right? Never had nothing to do with the cleaning.
No, never clean. The other thing that we used to use when washing, we used to wash in a zinc pan.
Okay.
Right? But you have heard of scrub board?
Yes, and it rigid. It had.
Yeah, it had, so, you know.
Yeah.
It's a piece of wood, heavy piece of wood.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, carved with grooves.
Yeah.
Grooves. So they would, and of course they used to use the blue soaps.
Blue bomber. Well,
whatever they used to call it. Right? Back in my time, they used to call it Key soap.
Okay.
I think that was just a brand. Like how we say Q-Tex.
Yes, it's true.
Key was a brand. So you have a Key soap, and you lather the clothes, and then you.
So didn't that mess up your knuckles?
Of course. Just like grating. Another thing we used to use is instead of before them have blender and all them things, is a grater. Grater was made out of metal.
Yeah.
And it had the,
And it was like
yes, it's
slightly cylindrical, right?
Yes, yes. Right. And then you grate your coconut and if you're making sweet potato pudding,
yes,
you grate that on there.
My brother used to have to make the sweet potato pudding.
Pudding, yes, and you have to grate it. Of course, a lot of skin came a lot of skin came off.
What a lot of persons did, like myself, if I ever had to use it, I just eat the small pieces.
Yeah, you're afraid to go down too deep, right?
You just eat the small piece.
So when you go to a certain size,
yeah,
pop it in your mouth and eat it.
So I want to go back a little bit to the washboard though,
the washboard,
right? I saw somebody had a beating pad. What was that? Yeah,
that is also to help clean. If you have a large piece, like a bedspread or so on, and you have to wash the whole of that. Sometimes you just you beat it.
Is it cleaning off that era? I don't want it.
Yes.
Right? So I can tell you something. Everything that has to do with cleaning, I don't want that.
Because it's too hard.
It's too hard. So imagine
but suppose you were growing up and listen, the old time days, you had chores.
Yeah.
Before you go to school, you have to milk the goat and the cow. If you're a girl, you sweep up the yard and so on before you go to school. And you have to go and fetch water. It's the little children used to fetch water, And that's very African. If you go into any of those African villages.
No, listen. I know
children that carry water.
If I was growing up,
so it's not just a cleaning.
If I was growing up, I know those chores would have had to be done. But I can tell you something. That part of it, I don't like, because hear what now. So I'm going to this place called Ambassador Eco Lodge. I wrote a very good article on it, and I did a very good review on it on my YouTube channel as well. All right.
Eco Lodge.
Yeah. So it's way up in the hills, though, right?
What is that one?
It's in Bowden Pen. A place called Bowden Pen, border of Portland and St. Mary.
I think
right, so there's no more human civilization there. The entire community migrated down to the flat. But in that time, persons were given land, right? And I was speaking to one of the persons who used to live up there. And he said that his grandmother said, well, you can't go to the river close by because everybody used the river there. They had to walk a mile to go to the furthest waterfall where nobody would tamper with that water and bring water to grandma. And whether she used that water or not, the next morning they had to go up there and get it up.
Yeah.
And he showed me the pathway.
Right. Well, let me tell you now, the children, as I told you, or the women, are the ones who would fetch water. And what would they fetch it in?
A pail.
Pail, or sometimes, the kerosene pan.
And put it on them head.
Right. And you know the Jamaican song, balance, oh, the balance, oh, back and see the man, balance. What that is referring to how you can balance a hamper or water bucket on your head.
Yeah.
And they use a thing called a cutter. You wrap your cutter.
Yeah.
It's a pad, and a special way of wrapping it. You put it on your head.
Yeah.
And then you put the hamper or the water on top of that.
Really?
Yes. So there is a saying, a Jamaican saying.
Yeah.
When you hear somebody say, boy, our cutter no wrap good, right?
Yeah.
What it means that, her.
Oh.
And they meaning literally is you cutter no wrap good, but what the allegorical meaning is, if you drop your basket one time, it's excusable. Drop it 2 times, but the 3rd time you cut on a wrap good.
Because it's supposed to balance it.
Yes. So they turn that now into a metaphorical thing that's something wrong.
Something wrong with your head. Yes, it's true.
With your head.
Okay. So
you cut on a wrap good.
If you have ever used that term, it's the first time I'm hearing it. I've heard the term cutter before. I've heard the word cutter before, but I've never heard the terminology of your cut on a wrap good, right? Good, so if you know about that, please write something in the comment section and tell me if you have ever used it before. Right. So they would have to walk. And then for me, I still remember this because when we grew up in Somerset, St. Thomas, you would go down the river, right? And you would lay out your clothes on a rock. You'd wash, the woman would wash it,
Yes,
lay
no,
out, and the girls would
what,
go.
You know what that is? Putting the clothes on a rock. What do you think that is?
Dryer?
No.
What that?
They've never had bleach in those days.
Really?
The sun. Papa's sun is the best bleach.
I did not. I always thought it was for drying.
No.
Hold on there.
That is to bleach your clothes. So if you have stains,
yeah,
you put the soap directly on the stain, and then you put it out in the sun. And while you wash your other clothes, and by the time you finish washing the other clothes, that bleach out, your stain gone.
I'm in awe.
And you just rinse it. And
I am in awe.
Yes. Well, in Kingston, where we didn't have river and river store, we used to put it out on zinc.
Okay.
You have zinc, you set it up in your backyard, and you treat the clothes, and you put it out on the zinc
let me ask
to
you
bleach
then.
it.
Let me ask you. Let's say I'm eating a guinea, stain this shirt. Walk me through the process how I'm getting out the stain then.
Right. I think salt or baking soda would be applied to it on a dry stain. And then water and soap. And you put it out in the sun to bleach. And then you wash it afterwards.
Listen, you don't say I'm speechless, right?
Yeah.
No, because listen, I would have told anybody it's for drying.
No.
Because the stone's so hot.
Yes.
I'm thinking we're dry it fast.
It's for bleaching.
It's for bleaching.
Bleaching.
What is the washing process like? Because, and this is another thing, I can tell you why I can see why men are lazy. Because I would be lazy, right?
Oh, Lord.
Let's say you're using a wash pail now,
the pan,
right?
The zinc pan.
Now, what's the process in terms of, you start with soap water?
Oh, yes. Well, you have to separate your clothes. Your first thing is to separate your clothes. Same way like you're doing in a washing machine.
Okay.
So you have your linens, your whites, separate. Then you have your underwear things and then the clothes. And the man clothes now we have greasy and stainy and sweaty. Right? That takes soaking. You have to soak that. you soak that overnight before you go to river.
Yeah.
Right? And then, and that one, you have to put that on the scrub board.
You have to put it on, because like giving him color?
The color and so on, yes.
So,
and then we also had
how much
brush.
time to empty that pan now?
Boy, I'm telling you, that is a problem. And of course, they empty it into the river with all the soap.
Yes.
And that creates a lot of algae and so on.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
So you have to empty it. So you soak it.
Yes.
You wash it. Scrub. You empty it. You catch back water again.
Yes. One soapy water, 2 rinse water.
One soapy water and 2 rinse water.
2 rinse water. Yeah. Yes, there's a lot of work. So even if you say anything to do with cleaning, but it's other things. You have to feed the pig. You have to feed the hog them and milk the cow and the goat before you go to school. And let me tell you, we would have to
wake up 4 o'clock.
Yes, because school is like for a lot of people 5 miles and more, and they might walk barefoot.
Wow.
Run barefoot to school.
Wow. So this for me would have been such an ordeal in terms of, I mean, I have to do it now because man has to evolve.
Yes.
So you adapt, right?
Yeah.
If that is the case, but I can appreciate, I use a washing machine. I can appreciate, right?
Yes.
The chore of somebody doing all of that.
Yes.
You have to show gratitude.
Absolutely. So it used to really upset me even before it is now, people don't do it anymore. But when they say women are just housewives.
True.
Just housewives. I saw a clip recently on YouTube about a father who had to take his children to school. He had 2 toddlers. He had a baby and a toddler. And I think the mother usually do all of that work, and she had to go to the doctor. So he was left with this. It was so funny because the amount of time he had to change that baby, right? And just as he put on the nappy, the baby pee again, and then he had to
cry.
Yes, and he had to run it after the. By the time he got to the car, he forgot to put on his pants. It was so hilarious, and he said he'd never again.
There's an art to because
he would never again criticize his wife for being slow or anything.
My grandmother, when she was teaching me how to cook, she's like, no, you can't put on that as yet.
Yes.
There was a pattern in terms of what you start with. She's like, listen, by the time this finish, that not already yet, and she's like, no, you have to do it in this order.
Yes, it's a schedule. You have to order the whole thing. Yes.
Wow. You told me something about ice cream, right? And an ice cream maker.
Yes.
I've never
ice cream. Back in the day, we used to make our own ice cream. So it usually would be Sunday. So after church, and then we'd have that for dessert after the thing. And it was such, I look forward to those days. We would make the ice cream in what was called an ice cream bucket. It's made of wood. It's a big, big pail. And it has a cylindrical metal container in the middle. And then at the top, where you cover it, running through it, you have a bar leading to a spindle or a handle, right? So
to find all the Kareems Quest content in one place, visit the website kareemsquest.com. You'll see colorful adventure stories, a lot of pictures of Jamaica's beautiful landscape, and articles that highlight the many unique things about Jamaica. It's all at kareemsquest.com.
Right? So what you would do, you would put in the cylindrical thing, your ingredients for the ice cream. So you would have your heavy cream, your whether it's mango or soursop, whatever flavor you're doing. So you put the ingredients for the ice cream in that cylinder.
The heavy cream, so
you use heavy cream, or some people use vat milk, or whatever, right? And I used to love mango and soursop. So they would puree the fruit and put it in there, and whatever nutmeg, your spices and all of that, you put it in there, and then you pack around that cylindrical thing your dry ice, because you have to keep it cold, you know. So you ice or dry ice, and then you have to churn and churn.
How hard was that to churn? That must have been hard.
Oh, we enjoyed doing it. We used to take turns. We used to fight each other. My turn, no, my turn. It's my turn. You get a turn already. Yes, we used to love doing it, man. Churning the ice cream.
How long would it take in terms of minutes?
You would have to do that for about an hour. Yes, you would do an hour, and as it thickens, it gets harder to turn. It gets stiffer and stiffer. That's where you know it's almost ready.
Oh.
So because the ice cream is getting hard now.
Yeah.
But you have to turn and turn and turn, and that delicious, delicious.
If you have ever used this device before, please write something in the comment section. How much serving would that give you?
Yeah, they have different sizes, but the really large one, I would say about 2 quarts. 2 quarts of ice cream.
Okay.
And so that will be enough for the family, and with a little leftover. We used to look forward to that. My favorite was always grape nuts or mango or soursop.
Wow.
But people could make rum and raisin. They could make coconut ice cream. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. That was a good device.
I mean, I am learning a lot from that because I have heard of it before. I mean, we used to use dry ice when we used to have like the fudgy. But that was, you know, way after when you have man a ride on bicycle now, and they would have the dry ice around it, and we would ask them for it, put in our mouth and try to make smoke.
Yes, like you smoking, yeah.
I would make smoke with it.
It had a taste?
No, you have to move it fast around it.
Okay, it burn your tongue,
yeah.
burn your tongue.
So, and then I had some cousins who were very rude. They'll put it in bottles, shake it up, and throw the bottle, and it explodes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, we did a lot of those stuff in terms of just using it, but I recognize that it would keep things cold for a very long time, right? Time. Oh, wow. I did not know that about dry ice. This was, again, another lovely episode. If you have any topics that you'd want us to speak on, please let us know. Write me a comment. A lot of persons write comments, and I get them to Cecile.
We don't even talk about the lanterns yet.
Oh, home sweet home.
Home sweet home.
We're not finished yet.
Yeah.
Let's keep on going.
Yes.
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home, the light, yes.
Did we make that here? Because it seemed like we used to make a lot of things.
No.
Okay.
Somehow I think that was imported.
Okay then.
So for inside the house, you would have the glass lamps, right? The lantern, the part that goes over the flame would have patterns and home sweet home. And the bottom that holds the fluid,
kerosene oil.
The fuel, the kerosene oil, usually kerosene oil, is also glass, see-through. And then you turn the wick, you thread the wick into the opening there.
Yes.
And there's a little screw thing and you screw the wick, and you have to keep the wick trimmed so it don't smoke up.
Yes.
Right.
Because you have to take newspaper and clean off the inside.
Yeah, yes.
I used to do that because it was small and my hand was small as a child.
Yes, so that was your job.
Yeah.
And then for the night or for outdoors, you have what they call the hurricane lantern.
Metal one.
That's a metal one. And you have to draw it up.
I used to make some you used to make a creaky sound when you move with it.
No,
I guess because the moving part, rusty.
Yes,
I remember that.
Yes, those were. But I remember the first fridge. You know, my family was, I suppose, a little bit more well-to-do. The first fridge was a kerosene fridge.
Really? How does a kerosene fridge work?
Just like regular thing, but it gets its fuel from, instead of electricity, from kerosene. And the tank would be at the back.
No, you have to walk me through that. How does it convert the fuel into energy? It's like a generator?
Yes, just like how you have kerosene stove. We have a kerosene fridge, but I guess they had a motor.
Yeah, the motor, right.
Is the motor that would be powered by the kerosene.
So that it would make noise?
It would have a hum. But just like the fridge today have a hum as well. Okay. So we had a gas water heater. We used to call it, Lord, I'm about to say, we said geyser.
Really?
But that might have been a brand name as well.
Yeah.
But my mother would say, go and light the geyser. So you have to light the geyser to heat up the water.
Oh wow. Yeah. I came in the era where the fridge the back used to dry your uniform.
Yeah, because it had the grate at the back.
It had the grill at the back.
And it had a top and bottom.
Yes, and you have to defrost the top.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Ever so often.
Right.
You have to just open it and it just was frosting
No
up.
frost fridge was a big innovation.
Really?
Big innovation, because we used to have to defrost every 2 weeks or so, because the frost would just build up.
Yes.
I have to give you a story, quick. My little brother, I have a much younger brother, right? So he was about 16 years younger than me. He was the wash belly. One day we couldn't find Mark. We looked everywhere. We heard the child crying, and it sounded so close and yet far away, faint. So my mother sent my brother underneath the house bottom. You know, have house bottom?
Yeah.
Because he's there. Look for him. And we were there searching for Mark everywhere, searching for Mark. Could not find the boy. You know where he was? In the fridge. We had defrosted the fridge and taken out all the shelves and everything.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to everybody, Mark crawled into the fridge. And it closed, the door closed. So he could have suffocated.
Wow.
And it was only, he was able to push, and he just tumbled out. While we were there looking for it, the child tumbled out.
Wow, that is an experience. I mean, technology also, has come a far way, because can you imagine how much current we would have been wasting just opening up that fridge?
Yes.
And just allowing it and then have to make it go back in now. But that fridge back save a lot of us too.
Yes, but it dried the clothes. You have one uniform.
Exactly. That's what I said.
Uniform, and you have to wash it.
Yes, don't it? By the end of the morning, you just go through it real fast.
You see, iron your own clothes?
No. I'm a boy. You get away. My mother would do it.
Yes.
Yes. And I have to be grateful for that.
You used to clean your own shoes?
Now look at you. We barely rub it. Listen, so when I was going to high school and I was in sixth form, right?
Yeah.
This older person, they used to always come back and talk to us, right? And this one guy looked at me one time and said, yo, whenever you're going to wear a jacket, don't iron the whole shirt. Just iron right yourself.
Makes sense.
I don't know.
It makes sense.
Him tell me that.
You just iron the front.
When I took off the jacket, the whole thing crushed up, right? Like paper was crushed up, right?
Yes.
But he was like, no, you're going to wear a tie. I went to JC, right? And I give all those old boys a lot of props, because not just JC, but Calabar, Casey, a lot of Mannings, a lot of them would come back and they would talk to the younger ones, man. You know what I mean? Tell them about the days and keep up the school morale.
Yes.
And this one guy, man, Douglas Sherman, he said, no, man, you don't iron your own shirt. Because you wear long sleeve shirt too, so it's a lot of shirt to iron, you know, right? Yeah, you must say iron just the first part and go over the button them and you finish.
You finish.
And the color. I touch the color.
And the color.
And him say you finish and you put on your jacket.
Right, we don't have time to talk about the old time iron that I used to use.
I was just about to ask you that, the coal iron. Did you ever use it before?
Mm-hmm. You have to put the coal in the iron itself. Mm-hmm. They had two kinds, but we had the fancy one where you put the coal in the iron itself. But they had mostly those small irons you put on the coal stove, and then you'd have to wipe it off. Yeah. And then you had a cloth to hold the handle because it's hot. And you iron the clothes.
But let me ask you now.
So you have to have several, you know. So
let me ask
because as one get cold, you put it back on the fire, and you take out another one. Man, those mothers, they need... Mother's Day, you must really...
It's true. It's true.
Give kudos to your mother because that is a lot of work.
Let me ask you something. When you have the coal iron, right? How much panels of a shirt or whatever could it get to before you have to get it back hot? So let's say...
Depends on how quickly you are.
See, I forgot.
Yes, you have to do it quick. Stamp and go. Yeah, I used to... I mean... Don't bother do the body, put it over the iron board. I just flatten it, put all the wrinkles, and you put it together. Yeah. And you iron front and back, and then you spin it over, iron front and back again. But the proper way would be to put it onto the iron board and iron and go through the buttons and
what about those clothing items that had to be starched?
Yes.
How did that work then?
Oh Lord, yes.
Because some nurses' uniform could have stand up.
Yes.
Policeman uniform, them say can put that stand up.
Yeah, but listen, Kareem, back in the day, when we had a thing called crinoline, you ever about crinoline?
No, sir.
Yeah, we had flounce skirts, gather skirts. Yeah. This is in the 50s now, right? And the crinolines you wear underneath it now to make it stand up.
slip. Okay. Like a buttress.
Yes, so, yes, but it you know, and that crinoline was made of sort of like buckram or, you know, net, a thing, like almost like fishnet. Yeah. You have to starch that, man, and make it just stand up. And we used to starch the crochet pieces.
So it gave the woman more shape.
Yes, well, it was just the thing to have a bouffant look. Okay. With the thing stand off. Yeah. You know, like that. Yeah.
I see them in westerns, but westerns them take it far. Because it was a frame, like a...
Right, yeah, well, that was how it was in the 50s. And then, of course, the dancing at the time, it take a lot of twirling and spinning. Okay. So you have to have nice underclothes because you spin and you have to show them off. It's almost a part of the dress.
Get you.
Right, so you have to, you know, you starch.
Oh, wow. All right, so I think we touched on all of them. Is there any that we didn't touch on? I think we touched on many
things.
If there are any household items that we left out, feel free to write it in the comment section and let us know. All right, and again, you find a lot of these type of topics on my website, kareemsquest.com. You just go to the culture section at the top of my website. You click on it and you can see so many articles about Jamaican culture because we have to find a way to keep it, right? I mean, we have some unique things. You taught me about, I never knew that we had so many factories. Yes. Somebody told me that, hey, listen, Karen, we used to make fridge.
Yes.
I was like, really?
With tires. We used to make tires out here. Oh. There was a company called Reckitt & Coleman. You know, they should do so many things. Wow. Right, and you know, the tire factory was out at St. Thomas. I think they're making that in now. I heard
Goodyear factory, they're taking it over now.
Yeah, take it over and they're making it into some kind of multi-functional industrial thing. And all the stoves, that's another story by itself. You know.
We used to make those?
The oven. No, the kind of thing, brick oven.
Oh, yeah. I know, I still see brick oven. Some places say they still have brick oven because it also gives a different flavor. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I mean, some persons still use the pimento wood. Yeah, for that fire, and they say that it draws a nice...
Yeah, but that's how the jerk, that's what gives the jerk its special flavor.
Okay then. All right, it was lovely having you viewing us. Yes. I love the support that you're giving us. I love the encouragement. Please keep writing, please keep watching. And if you have not subscribed to my channel as yet, please subscribe to my channel, all right? We're trying to grow those numbers higher and higher and higher. Yeah. Share this with as many persons as possible on Facebook, on YouTube, on WhatsApp, on any social media.
X.
Yeah, on X.
Yes.
See, Cecile,
up in it.
She up to date with
thank you very much, everybody who have made positive comments about the previous interviews. I appreciate them all.
All right. As usual, you're always welcome to join the quest.